And joining me now, as always on a Tuesday, Sky News hosts Paul Murray and Liz Storer.
Howdy.
Great to see you both. What do you think about that $6 billion to free US citizens from Iran? Is that a good deal?
I don't know what the going rate is for international prisoner exchange these days.
Seems a lot of money.
But it does seem to be an awful lot of money for the opportunity of saying people have come back. But
you'd be worried what Iran is going to do with that money and whether they'll just be firing missiles over towards Israel.
Yeah, and listening to we would call them the relevant minister in the American government talk to it today, he simply just said, oh, well, you know, we've got the ways and means of ensuring that it is spent in an appropriate manner. I'm like, nonsense. Really? Nonsense. You hit transfer, that money is theirs, and if you find out that they've spent it badly, let's say on weapons of war or whatever, too late would be the cry.
But also think about the obvious double messaging here, right? If a cyber attack happens on your business, the advice from the American government is don't pay the compensation.
Yeah, we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Correct, unless when we do, because there's a bigger game at foot here. Yeah, I'm with you.
Now, earlier in the show, we spoke about the ugliness of the Voice debate. We saw that there was protests and abuse outside the No campaign in Adelaide last night. Separately, when Jacinta Price was speaking, she was also reduced to tears. Paul Murray, what do you think we're seeing here in this debate that just over the past couple of weeks, it has stepped up a notch? Like we saw all the allegations of racism last week by Marcia Langton, and now this abuse. It just feels like our nation is getting more and more divided.
It is. However, latest polling has shown that no is now in the majority at 51-41 now. That's coming even from the poll that pops up in The Guardian. So I just had a look at these numbers before. Hard no is now 42. Hard yes is now 28. Soft yes is 12. And a soft no is about 9. The trajectory is very obvious. It's multiple states that it's happening. So what you are starting to see now is two rather significant factors. You're starting to see the desperation of those who believe that this is a good thing that needs to happen, and things are running away from them. Conversely, you're also seeing a resistance from what is now the majority of the population to the corporate effort or the political effort to say, no, you're wrong, change your mind. Now, we talked about this last night on the telly, and the joy of Sky News. It's one happy family where if you watch it all, you'll get it all, the information at all times of day or night. But the Retailers Association has come forward and tried to tell people, look, don't rip into staff and let's not have fights in supermarkets. But of course, that's not because there's people in aisle 8 arguing between yes and no. It's because the company has forced the people to work for them to wear a badge saying yes.
And also some department stores and supermarkets are playing announcements over the loudspeaker urging people to support the yes vote. But Liz, what do you think about this? And we're going to bring you that footage, by the way, of the protests in a minute. But Liz, what do you think about this notion that, you know, the referendum has coincided with people turning against Albanese? He enjoyed this long honeymoon. That is now over. So do you think this is also impacting on the referendum and on the yes vote?
Yeah, 100%, because we have a Prime Minister who made a lot of promises, and despite people living through one of the worst cost of living crises we've seen in certainly my lifetime, all he can talk about is his pet project. So it's been really, really bad timing. And he's encouraged the corporates to get on board. Every time a new one comes out, he kind of commends them for it. People are sick of that. And I think it's really started to grind against the national psyche, because Aussies don't like a tall poppy. We don't like the idea that you have more rights than me or you get preferential treatment because of the colour of your skin. It is un-Australian. And that's why we're seeing the no vote not just get more desperate, the yes vote, not just get more desperate, but incensed. I think that's what's coming out in these rallies. I think that's why it's not only reflected in the referendum polls, but also in Albanese's popularity.
Before we come back